Okay, so let me go ahead and every week I'm going to review all of the posts that I made in the Crazy Shares group and the Good Ads group. So let's go ahead and start with Crazy Shares right now. All right. So let me go back to the top. All right. So this is the first one. Let's take a look at this. All right. So as we can see, this one right here, usually to qualify, hold on. Usually to qualify to go inside Crazy Shares, it's going to have a 1-to-1 like to shares ratio. This one is ridiculous. This has a, for every like that it has two times the amount of shares. So as you can see, has 32,000 likes, but it has 61,000 shares. This is ridiculous, right? So this is why I posted this one in here. I mean, and this is I guess it's a cool little seat, little love boy. I mean, recliner seat, and it motorized. So I can see why it does that. But this is a really good. I think this is probably isn't based so much on the way that it was the ad was created. It's just a really viral product, a really cool product. So I could see like people saying like, "Oh man," people send it to their siblings. We need to get this for dad, or a wife saying, "Honey, I'd like to get this for you," or something like that. All right. So let's move on to the next one.
People need help with their.
So this one right here, this guy, it's crazy. This guy has been around forever. I remember as a little kid, and I'm not young, and I remember his commercials being on TV when I was a little kid. So that was, I went and looked it up because I was telling one of my buddies about him, and I was like, this guy had commercials, and I went to look it up, and this guy first started running ads on TV, I think in 1980. So that was what, 1980, that's 45 years ago. And he's still running ads on Instagram. It's crazy, but let's take a look at it.
Cars, right? If you don't have a car and you can't go to work, you can't take care of your family or whatever. That's why there's so many programs now for people to get the money and help they need to buy a new car or fix up your old car. So I put together a report that shows about 200 programs like this. That's right. They're all over the country. They're nonprofit organizations and government offices. These are programs that are there to help you. They're not making money off of you. See, we have two sections of our economy in this country. One is capitalism, and the other one is.
See, these types of, I'm not gonna play the rest of it, but these types of ads or content, whatever you want to call it, always do really well. You know why? Because they're beneficial to people, right? This is beneficial. He's not, it doesn't feel like he's selling anything in here, right? And that's why, look at this. It has 29, as of the time I'm recording this, 2,976 likes, but it has 3,300 shares, right? People love to share stuff that is valuable, that would be valuable to someone else. So I guarantee you, like these people seeing it, the people that decided to share this, they know someone that either doesn't have a car or someone that's looking to get a new car, and they're trying to be helpful, so they're sharing it to someone else. So that's why, and this is the key to the game. You want to come up with content that's highly shareable, because that's how you get the content to spread out there further, right? And another thing is that when Meta sees that a lot of people are sharing this, they realize that it's good content. So then now they share it out there even further. So that's what makes this one good. All right, I'm not gonna go watch the rest of it. You can actually go in the group and watch it if you want to see the rest of it. Let's take a look at this right here.
Your motherfucking ass. That's the two choices you got. The third one's jail. Mr. Big Dick, and you take your motherfucking choice. You want to suck my dick?
All right, I'm not gonna play the rest of it because of the there's a lot of cursing in there and whatnot. But look at this. This has 2,000 likes, but it has 6,000 shares. So it has 3 times the amount of shares as it does likes. Now, on average, a good piece of content will have, for every like, for every 10 to 100 likes, you'll have 1 share, right? This has 3 shares for every like. So, but this isn't, even though this isn't a business one, people like to, people like to share stuff that they think is funny, and basically this is like a hillbilly father. He found out that this guy was messing around with his daughter, and he goes ballistic. He goes ballistic. All right, let's move on to the next one. This right here, this is why I say, if you're highly offended, you might not want to look at the content that's in this group. But look at this one, right? So I guess this one is a like a doll, like a life-size doll or whatever, maybe a sex doll. And so there's no words, there's no nothing in there. And look at this. It has 472,000 likes, but it has 657 thousand shares, which is crazy, right? So for every like, there's 1.5 shares, which is a ridiculous amount. Because remember, generally for every 100 likes, you'll get anywhere from 1 to 10 shares, and that's a good piece of content, right? 100 likes get 1 to 10, and this right here, for 100 likes, it's getting 150 shares. So that is ridiculous, right? But basically, it's some sort of a sex doll, and people thought it was funny or whatever the case may be, but that's why it's getting ridiculous shares. All right, let's move on to the next one.
I was dating this girl for 5 to 6 years, right? She ended up getting pregnant. I signed the birth certificate because the dad did not want to. Our relationship did not work. She ended up dating the baby daddy again. And now they put me on child support for that kid.
So basically, you heard that, right? A bisexual woman was in a relationship with another woman. She decided to sign the child support papers, and now she's responsible for the kid, when obviously she isn't the kid's rightful father. Now, I'm sure a lot of men share this. A lot of men that are going through child support, or have or is on child support for some of their kids, they probably share this, because it just sounds so ridiculous, right? Why is this woman on the line for child support when she didn't? It's obvious that she isn't the actual father of the kid, right? But look at this. This has 17.8 thousand likes and 26,000 shares. Again, another viral piece, a contagious piece of content. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Why is this not playing? Oh, okay. I'm not sure why it's not playing. Let's start over again.
I bet they use this Listerine Cool Mint antiseptic. Class action lawsuit has been filed against Johnson & Johnson, the owner of Listerine, for fraudulent misrepresentation, unlawful business practices, false advertising, and more, because a recent study shows that regularly using this product can cause certain bacteria to proliferate, each of which can cause serious infections and are also closely linked to multiple deadly forms of cancer, including oral, head and neck, colorectal, pancreatic, breast, esophagus, and GI cancers. Here's the thing, the directions literally say to use morning and night. That's 2 times a day, which qualifies as regular use. Now, the only danger they alert you of is of swallowing and of keeping.
All right. So this piece of content right here that was shared by this guy, look at this, right? He has 32,000 likes, but 96,000 shares. So he has 3 more shares for every like. And this isn't even his piece of content. This is somebody else's that he's just reposting, right? Let me see. Let's take a look real quick. Let's see if we can see how many likes it has. It's crazy. This is not even, so this shows you right here that if you find good content, look at this, 1.7 million views. This guy got 1.7 million views for a piece of content that's not even his, right? And if you look at all the rest of his content, 10,000, 6,000, 4,000, 6,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, right? So if you go out there and find really valuable pieces of content, you can get millions of views and you're not even the person to actually created it, right? As you can see,
To your friends who have good breath, because I bet they use this Listerine Cool Mint
all he did,
Antiseptic.
let's go back, right?
To your friends who have good breath, because I bet they use this
So we know that one of the main
pancreatic
reasons,
breast.
that was it. It just has him at the beginning pointing up, and then he gets a piece of content that gets 1.7 million views, 96,000 shares, right? That gives him some level of authority, and again, this isn't even his piece of content. All right, let's move on to the next one.
I'm black. Oh my god. I'm fucking black.
Again, now, so this content creator uses these puppets, and again, he took someone else's piece of content and then added his own dialogue at the end with his little puppies, right? I mean, with his little puppets. But it has 87,000 shares and 87,000 likes and 96,000 shares. It's crazy. Let's look. I want to see how many views the actual piece of content has. Let's see if we can find it. All right, now he has some that has gone viral. His stuff is pretty funny. Let's see if we can find that one though. It'll usually say just watched. Okay, this one. Look at it. 1.5 million views, right? This is it right here. 1.5 million views off of a piece of content that's not even his. Crazy. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this content, that's it, right? All this person is doing is sharing a bunch of resources, a bunch of Chinese manufacturing websites. No talking, no dialogue in here. All they did was this. They put a list of all these different, and look at this, right? 3,000 likes, 7,000 shares. So for every like, she's getting 2 shares. Crazy, crazy, right? It looks like this is probably some sort of DDAL logistics. So some sort of logistical company that operates out of China, right? Easy piece of content to do, right? Just putting a bunch of resources on there, and it's getting for every like, it's getting 2 shares. Let's look. I'm just curious as to, and it looks like, let's see. Okay, this had 167,000 views, right? But look at all the rest of the stuff: 6,000, 23, 7, 7, 13, and I guess this one just hit because all of their content looks the same. I'm sure it's different stuff that they're sharing, but you pick the right thing, it's gonna just take off. It's just gonna take off. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, child support secret judges don't want you to know. Let's take a look at this.
I got another good one for you. Get ready to take notes. You're going to want to save this one because the Supreme Court declared child support is unconstitutional. And when you find a Supreme Court case that supports your case, it's a wrap. Walk with me. Let me read it to you. It's delicious. Child support was declared unconstitutional in a Minnesota Supreme Court ruling for violating.
All right, so basically, all she's doing is just sharing some knowledge on something. People love to share stuff like this, especially if they know someone that's going through a similar type of situation. This has 9,900, almost 10,000 likes and 10,500 shares. So this is closer to that 1-to-1 ratio. But this still a ridiculous amount of shares. Now, I don't know exactly what she does. I think she because I've saved a couple of other of her videos, and I think she talks a lot about child support and whatnot. So she may be a child support lawyer or maybe a child support coach or counselor, but she's got 10,000 people have shared this out, right? So yeah, let's see. Click the link. When in court, she's a legal law professor, legal strategist, right? Let's take a look at this. Traffic secrets judge don't want you to know. 6.2 million, right? But most of the stuff, 1,000, 12,000, 2,000. Let's look for the one that we just watched. Let's see if we find it in here. This lady makes good content, right? I mean, and not all of them are going to go viral, as we can see here, right? Most of them 2,000, 3,000. But if you find stuff that is really valuable to people, I don't know where the one we just watched was. I don't see it in here. It's probably further down, and I don't want to use this whole video to try to find. Generally, what I'll do is like if I can't find it, if it's taking too long, what I'll do, or I'm not sure what, if it doesn't pop up right away, I'll come down here and I'll try to find the date that it was posted. Sometimes you can see the date. Oh, this one doesn't show it. Sometimes you could see the date, and then I'll go to their profile and then try to find it from there. All right, but let's move on to the next one. Right? Again, this is a resource right here.
Did you know you can make $24 an hour watching movies? Let me show you how. First, go to Google and search movie theater check-in, then scroll down until you find Certified Field Associates and click on that. Certified Field Associates will pay you to go to your favorite movie theater and give a
Okay, so she's just basically sharing a resource. Um, who wouldn't want to get paid to go to the movies, right? So it's a good reason. So I can see why it was shared ridiculously. It has 5,400 likes and 7,600 shares, right? And then what she's doing is so she's giving. This is what I call a canad, right? Which is a content this an ad disguised as a content, right? As a piece of content. So she's sharing a valuable piece of content, and I bet at the end there's some sort of call to action because I can look at the text that's here. It says DM me or comment ready to learn how.
And the best part is they will pay for your movie tickets and your food. All you have to do is sign up. Enjoy your favorite movies, use ChatGPT to write a review, and get paid. But to make 5 figures a month passively with an easier side hustle, comment ready. Did you know you can
So this right here is a phenomenal ad or piece of content, right? Because what she's doing is she's sharing something very, very valuable, and then at the end it doesn't come up because this is the thing that we have to remember. Anytime that we're creating an ad, and if it feels like an ad from the beginning, the viewer more than likely, unless they're looking for that particular solution at that point in time, they're going to keep scrolling. They're going to scroll on, right? But what this is why I call it a canad. It's an ad disguised as a piece of content, almost like a Trojan horse, right? If you guys, any of you guys know the story of Trojan horses, right? Where I don't remember the country. This is back in who knows hundreds, thousands of years ago, whatever. But a country had sent to another country this horse, this big horse, but inside the horse because they wanted to try to get inside the city. And then during those days, they had like walls around the city. And what they did was they sent the country this big horse, right? That's probably like 100 foot tall that they created. I think this is in Greek mythology. So I don't know if it's a real thing that happened, but this is a story. This is where the Trojan horse. If you ever heard of Trojan horse, this is where it comes from. And but inside the horse was a bunch of soldiers. So soldiers. So you know the country, they received the horse, like, okay, yeah, they sent us this horse, and then what they did was, when everybody went to bed that night, the soldiers that were hiding inside the horse, because the people didn't know that there were soldiers hiding in there, they came out, and then they went and opened up the whatever, the gates, or the whatever, to the city, right, and then allowed all the other soldiers, and that's how they were able to take it over. So that's where the term Trojan horse comes from, and that's exactly what these are Trojan horse ads. They feel like a piece of content, but it's actually an ad. So she's sharing something that's very, very valuable, and then at the end, hey, if you want to learn more, DM me, and I'm sure that she's either selling some sort of a ebook or course or something, some sort of training, or whatnot, right? And the people that are seeing it, they don't even realize that she's trying to sell something, or even if they do realize it, they find that her content is so valuable, they're going to share it. So this is how you get other people to work for you for free, right? Crazy. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Let's try again.
It's something called on-demand delivery apps, right? So write this down and save it for later. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to tell you 4 banks that let you get cars with only your EIN number. Write this down. The first one is going to be Curry, all right? This is automatically going to put you in the game. And they saying that the average payout on this is $88. And this is
Okay.
all...
Basically, he's reaching out to all Uber drivers, right? And we know that there's millions of people that drives Uber, and he's basically saying that, hey, if you drive Uber, I'm going to show you a better way that you could make money than driving Uber. And then so same thing, same as the last thing, right? It's a Canad, right? Trojan horse ad, where it feels like content, but then at the end he's gonna have some sort of a call to action, right? But this is good, and he's not, and to be honest with you, and this is no disrespect to him, but he's not even necessarily a great presenter, right? And people don't care about that. Like he doesn't come off, doesn't sound like he's the smoothest talker, or content creator, but people don't care if you're sharing something to them that's very valuable to them, right? And that's exactly what he's doing. And let's look at these numbers, right? He has, what is it? I can barely see. 100 and what's it? Oh, 17,000 likes, and then 24,000 shares, right? So he's getting more than one share for every like, which is amazing. Again, you have people actually working for you, right? You got people that sharing your stuff, because you're giving valuable content, right? All right, let's move on to the next thing.
Good morning. This work from home job pays $26 to $33 an hour and does not require a degree. I also have another position that is in HR and starts off at $69 and pays upwards of $80,000 a year. Most people take a break from applying on weekends. However, if you see a job posted over the weekend and you get your application in, that will raise your chances even more, because most people are not job searching on Saturdays and Sundays. So just a small tip that you can utilize to help give you a higher chance of landing employment and getting an interview. So the job starting off at $26 an hour is with the company.
So again, what she's doing is she's sharing valuable content, right? Another Trojan horse ad, and basically, look at, she has, what is it, 3,800 likes, and then 3,700 shares. So almost at a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Because she's sharing something that's really valuable, and I'm sure at the end there's going to be some sort of a call to action, or maybe there is, or maybe there isn't. Let me see.
Combining with my remote recruiting resume template. This coming week for the end of the
Right.
month, I am running sales.
So as you can see, so
I
after
want you to have a background,
so
of course, in HR.
80% of the content is her sharing something valuable, and then at the end she has her call to. Let's take a look at it.
In recruiting. If you have additional IT experience, that's a plus. And as you can see at the bottom here, the pay is $69,000 to $80,000 a year. In terms of templates, if you do not already have one to land this type of position, I would recommend my HR resume template and then combine it with my remote recruiting resume template. This coming week for the end of the month, I am running sales on all of my custom resumes, and my templates are also discounted at this point. Link in my bio to see, or just shoot me a DM and I will get you signed up. Good luck. Good morning. This one from Home Job pays 26
All right.
to 33.
So you guys saw that, right? She shared 75-80% of the content. She's sharing something valuable, and then at the very end, she's saying, "Hey, if you don't have my template, you can go ahead and buy my template. I'm offering it for sale, whatever, right?" But she has people doing the work for her because she provided a valuable piece of content. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so it's same girl again, so we're not gonna watch the whole thing.
This is a work from home job that's nights and weekends that starts off at $37 an hour. Nighttime.
Look at this one. This has 38,000 likes and 47,000 shares. Let's take a look at. Let's see if we can see how many views it got in total. See if we can find it. It's probably older, so it's going. Okay, this one 833,000 views. Right. This is what you guys have to realize when you post valuable content on these platforms. This is what makes them get a whole lot of views, right? It's not necessarily how many followers she has, right? Even though she has a lot of followers, I can promise you that 80%, 75 to 80% of the amount of views that she got didn't even go to her followers. It's probably new people because I don't follow her, do I? Yeah, I don't even follow her, and I saw it, right? So what happens is when these social media platforms see that you have a piece of content that gets shared a lot, like everyone starts sharing in the beginning, they start sharing it out to more people. They start sharing it out for you, right? So they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and then the people that get it start sharing it out further, even further, right? So that's why it's so valuable to make sure that you post valuable content if you want it to spread. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so this is a woman reveals through text to her ex-husband their daughter isn't his biological child. His response leaves her devastated. Right, look at this. It has 1,700 likes, but 7,000 shares. So it almost has 7 times the amount of shares to likes, which is crazy, right? And then it shows her. So again, this isn't even someone doing any talking. It's just a graphic on the first image and then a screenshot on the second. And 9 times out of 10, to be honest with you, it's probably not even real, right? But these types of things triggers people, so they love sharing stuff like this, right? Let's move on to the next.
Hey, we about to eat some hibachi for what?
For free.
For free. Hey, let me show you how to do it right here, right now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Alright, this the Gig Spot app. This ain't nothing but a secret shopper app, okay? It's letting us know the pay rate is $5, but they gonna reimburse us up to $100. So we pull up to Kobe.
So you notice this is really an ad for that company, right? But it doesn't feel like an ad. It feels like a friend came across something valuable and they're sharing something with you, right? That's exactly what this feels like. Feels like you came across something really good and I'm going to share it with my friend. Instead, he's sharing it to his entire audience, and that's why this piece of content got a crazy amount of shares. Look, it got 8,600 likes and almost 15,000 shares. So almost 2 times the amount of shares for every like, right? Because he's sharing something valuable.
You already know what they.
Let me see if he has some
7
sort of
days.
content.
Some pay within 14 days, some pay within 30 days. In this case, I chose direct deposit. As you can see here, I got my reimbursement plus my $5.
Hey,
All right,
we
so
about to eat some.
he doesn't have any sort of call to action, or at least not in that
Hibachi food.
But that's a further testament that when you provide valuable content, people will share it. Let's move on. This should be interesting.
How to get pregnant DIY edition without the help of a partner or a doctor. First, make a trip to Sprouts and get a ton of fertility supplements. Then check your expenses with your financial advisor. You need to account for rent or mortgage, child care, food and clothing, and an extra savings account. I live in California, expenses may differ. Then you're going to research a sperm bank and find a donor. One sample vial is $800 and about $200 to ship. You can expect your tank in about 2 days. Start tracking your ovulation every 3 hours until you see your first positive. 12 hours later, it's go time. Make sure you use a glove when reaching into your cryo tank to pull out your sample. Transfer your sample into your syringe and wait 15 minutes. While you're waiting, you're going to use a little bit of Creasy. Treat that syringe just like a tampon and chill for 30 minutes with your legs up. When 30 minutes is ended, you're going to insert a Flex soft disc and you're good to go. Wait 14 days and take a pregnancy.
Wow, that's crazy. I actually had never watched this one before. I just saw the numbers and saved it. But look at this, and I'm sure that this is valuable to women out there that want to have a child that don't want to get married or don't want to have it with a particular person, right? Look at this. This has I can't see how many likes it has. I think it's 61,000 likes, but it has 129,000 shares, right? Which is crazy, 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 right? Almost 2 to 1, right? And I'm sure that this lady is probably selling maybe some sort of training on how to do it, or if she isn't selling it yet, she will be. I can promise you that. Look, child safety advocate, and she has a website. So it's something that she's offering or that she's selling, all right? But again, valuable content, right? Valuable content gets shared. All right, and this is going to be the last one for this week. This one right here, before I even play it, right? This one right here isn't good, but look at the amount of shares it got.
Innovative Style Salon, located in Statesboro, Georgia, 912-601-2558. Here the clients get what they desire. See you soon. Innovative Style.
So as you can see, this is not necessarily a great put together piece of content, but I think a lot of the shit, people like it because maybe if you live in that area, you like that style. I don't think it looks particularly that great, but for some reason, it's getting shared a whole lot, right? It has 8,000 likes, but almost 30,000 shares, right? And again, and the reason why I saved this one, not only because of the ratio is crazy, but because it's not even, the person isn't, okay, yeah, they're showing someone's modeling the hairstyle, but it's not even a really good put together piece of content, right? All it does is it has the name of the company on there and a phone number, and someone saying Innovative Style Salon and saying the phone number, and that's it. And it's still got almost 30,000 shares, right? Which is crazy. So it just shows you that you don't, a lot of people think that, oh, you have to be very photogenic, or you have to be really good with your words to make content that goes viral. And that's not the case. If you just start to learn to understand what it is that people are looking for and then provide that to them in the way that they want to see it, your content will go viral or become contagious, right? And the reason why I use the word contagious is something that's contagious gets shared a lot, right? Almost the same as viral. All right, so that's it for this week. Keep in mind, every week I'm going to be sharing right here inside the group. I'm going to be, all throughout the week as I come across stuff that I see fit to put inside these group chats, I'll put it in there. And then at the end of the week, I'll go through and do a quick review over all the ones that I put in here. Let me know what you guys think. All right, talk with you soon.